Hi, this is Daniel for Vile, Jaconics Magazine Mail section. Today we have a very special guest. Actually, they are recording their latest album, and also they're going to be playing at the Maryland Death Fest. Today with us, we have Richard from Drugs Fate. Richard, thank you so much, man. How are you doing?
Doing okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's good to see you again. It's been a while since our last interview with the pandemic and all of that, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Well, it's been a while since that was the one time we saw each other in person, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's been a couple years since then, and then we did this other interview, but with the pandemic and all of that, like things were a little bit slow. But glad to have you here today.
I'm
Thank
glad to be here.
you. Thank you, man. So, Richard, I don't know if you can tell us, you were mentioning the other day, in your email, that actually you're recording your latest album. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, what can you tell us about it? I think you were to start doing the vocals. Is that correct?
That's the next thing that has to happen. We recorded the drums, guitar, and the bass,
Okay.
and we made an intro for the record.
Okay.
We have a rough mix. So we're recording at Developing Nations,
All right.
which is where we've done the last several of our records. And there's some other bands that have recorded there too, not just locally, but bands from, well, I guess there must have been international bands that have recorded there. I just don't know which. One of the bands that gets mentioned a lot when you talk about that studio, he's recorded Pianos Become the Teeth,
Okay.
Full of Hell. Those are just a couple of the big ones.
Okay. I understand. So, what's is there something different with the new record? Like, what has changed, since the last record to this one?
Well, some of the material is new and some of it's old. Speaking of the pandemic, we wrote some of the riffs,
Mhm.
pre-pandemic. And so when we write, we try to get the songs to have a good flow, so we're still trying to do that. We just don't want to have it sound like it was thrown together, you know. Um, I'm going to try to have different vocal styles like I have on some of our other records, so it's not it's brutal to sort of attack all the songs the same way,
Okay.
but we try to have a little more variety, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the the guy that's recording is Kevin Bernstein at the studio.
Uh-huh.
He referred to the record as a deranged rock album, and I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
I'll have to, when we go back for the vocals, we'll have to see if he still feels that way after I do the vocals.
Uh-huh.
And maybe we'll have to save that quote, like put it in the
Yeah.
press release or something like that. We'll
Uh-huh.
see. I asked him, what kind of genre do you think this record goes in? And he goes, I don't know. So that's maybe a good sign.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And so for your next presentation, I was very excited, like when I heard you are gonna be playing at the Maryland Dead Fest. So you have already like a set list done, like is something prepared already for that gig?
We started talking about what songs from the new record we should play, and maybe we'll do two of them.
Uh-huh.
We haven't started rehearsing yet.
Oh.
So we have, it's not that we have hits, but, we've done 3 music videos.
Mm-hmm.
So, we like to play those songs. There's a song from our first album, uh, our self-titled album that we like to play.
Uh-huh.
And then we pick out some other things, like we did a split with Cloud Rat. We like to play songs up of that.
Okay.
We used to play a song off of our split with Antigama.
Right.
Um, and then we have the last thing they recorded was a 7-inch. We play a couple of songs off of that.
That's the
So we like to
reanimation one?
grab stuff from different. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, no, that's the reanimation, right? The
Oh,
ref
well then, yeah, we like to play a cover. We've got three.
uh-huh.
Reanimation, that's the one we did for the Decibel magazine Flexi series.
Right. Uh-huh.
And then we did a track for a Godflesh compilation. And
Okay.
then on the Corroded album, we did a His Hero Is Gone cover.
Okay.
So we like to play one of those three too.
Nice. Okay. Well, that, oh man, sounds very promising. Definitely.
Yeah,
That
it'd
sounds
be
very.
funny. I guess we can't play the Sacrifice cover because Sacrifice is playing MDF this year.
Oh, okay, okay.
It'd
Well,
be a
that would,
little weird.
yeah, maybe, right.
I mean, why do you have to listen to us? You can just go see Sacrifice playing for real, you know?
Exactly. But I
And
mean,
but
and like Drugs of Fate, I mean, are you guys planning on like touring? Obviously I know with the new album, like probably you would, right? But I mean, right now you have already something said, or that's still on the
don't have anything set. You know what we have to do is start looking for gigs because the only one we have set up is for Death Fest right
uh-huh.
now. And we
Right.
haven't been playing at all except for we played two shows. Um, we played a show in Baltimore like right before the Omicron variant came in.
Okay.
Again, speaking of the pandemic,
Yeah.
everybody was wearing a mask,
Uh-huh.
And then we played two shows with Cloud Rat when they
Okay.
played Death Fest last time.
All right.
And then other than that, we've just been, writing the record.
Right.
So now we're in the studio, we want to start looking for gigs, and I think we'll start doing weekends, two or three shows around the
Mhm.
weekend. You
Okay.
know,
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's
play a
cool.
couple, play a couple or three, and come back.
Yeah, yeah, of course. How many songs are on this new record?
There's 9 songs and an intro,
Uh-huh. Okay.
10 tracks. It's going to be around 20 minutes of music.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
it's a little, you know how the standards have changed for full lengths. Like it used to be, it has to be at least as long as Rain and Blood.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's like you can call it whatever you want.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So at least we have 10 tracks and it's around 20 minutes. So it's longer than the EP, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll call it our full length. I think it'll be our shortest full length record, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
it'll be
cool.
worth the money.
Yeah. I mean, all of your records are worth the money for sure, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's definitely. I was just thinking about that, and well, I mean, just I think 2 days ago I hadn't listened to it actually in a while, but I was listening to the EP2 from Digital Negative.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I really like that record. So, what's up with Digital Negative? Are there any, plans doing something new or like touring or playing like I don't know what's if you can give us like an update on how that project is going.
You know what? I just got an email from Daniel, the other guy in the
Yeah.
band,
Hmm.
uh, who does all the samples
Okay.
and he constructs the songs.
Yeah.
He's got ideas for a fifth song. Our first two EPs both have 5 songs.
Uh-huh.
We want to do another one, so we want to have that one be 5 songs too. So that'll be 5 of 5.
Uh-huh.
Then we can, you know, we haven't put any lyrics on the songs yet. We're gonna wait until he has all 5, and then we'll try to put lyrics and vocals on it. And then we've been playing shows. We played I don't know, 4 shows,
Hmm.
4 or 5.
Okay.
Uh, the last show we played was New Year's Eve in
Oh,
Virginia.
sweet,
That
sweet.
was fun.
Uh,
When the clock struck 12, somebody started sending out fireworks in the parking lot. You know,
nice,
it
nice.
was cool. It was a mixed bill. We played, so we have that electronic industrial thing going on with Digital Negative.
Hmm.
That's how we refer to it, just in to use simple terms.
Hmm.
And then like a band kind of sounded like Sabbath played, and like a black metal kind of band played, and then like kind of a prog band played. It was
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's fun to play mixed bills. We haven't really played a show where it's all, electronic bands,
Yeah. Hmm. You tend to
Well,
play like kind of
I guess actually, I guess that happened once. I'm sorry.
oh, you tend to play like with other sort of like that kind of music. I would say it's always like you kind of mix it with some other.
Mix
Uh,
it up, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
which is fun.
yeah, makes sense. But and I'm curious because here in Mexico is kind of the same thing. Like a lot of like grime bands or like metal bands. They kind of eventually I would say like at least like some of the members they start like doing sort of this like electronic music or like this kind of music with samples and all of that. Like from your point of view, is like any specific reason where did you were interested into that kind of music? I mean, just be curious about it.
It actually wasn't my idea; it was Daniel's idea.
Uh-huh.
Again, back to the pandemic. It was a pandemic project.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was during the lockdowns,
Hmm.
and he wrote me, and we had known each other for a while. Like he used to be in a band with Drugs of Face bass player
Uh-huh.
Ivan,
Cool.
and so he wrote me and he said, "Hey, I've been working on these songs. I don't know, they don't really fit calling them any of the projects I've done before. Do you want to sing on it?" So he sent me some stuff, and I said, "Sure." And so it became over time. It became more collaborative, where more like we work on the lyrics together, we work on the sleeve together, and then I give him feedback about the songs that he's doing.
Hmm.
Instead of a thing where somebody has a project and then they just get somebody to sing on it. You know, it's like we're doing it together.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
It
Gotcha.
became like a real project for us.
Right, right. So that's something that I mean, it's gonna keep on going. It's not just like that three record well with this new one that perhaps you're gonna be recording soon, but it's actually like a proper band, let's say, right?
We're playing shows, so that's good. That makes it proper. What has to happen is Daniel has to stay inspired because it all starts with him making a song,
Hmm.
uh, because the lyrics and the vocals come later. And so after we put out this new EP, we just have to wait until he becomes inspired to write another one.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if he comes up with something, then we'll say, okay, we're starting another one.
Cool. Uh-huh. So the metal scene is very active, where you guys are, right? Like there's always like
Oh
gigs,
yeah,
everything going on, like yeah, all the time, right?
most yeah, mostly I go to yeah, metal and grind,
Hmm.
and kind of hardcore type gigs, kind of a mix of those things.
Okay.
But there's a metal scene too, where just where there'll be shows and it's just metal bands, and then there's a lot of rock,
Hmm.
um, kind of punk hardcore stuff.
Right. Hmm.
DC, Washington DC used to be known as a bluegrass town.
Right. Uh-huh.
Back in the day,
Yeah, I
which
heard that. Yeah.
this is before Minor Threat and all that happened.
Of course, of course. Right. So now, what would you say is like the most active, or which scene do you think is like m more popular nowadays, from your point of
I
view?
don't know.
Hmm.
It's funny to think about. Like you have a town and there'll be different genres just all sitting there on top of each other,
Hmm.
and it just depends on which one you start paying attention to.
Hmm.
There's a lot of clubs that just do dance music. People
Hmm.
just go and hang out at the bar and drink.
Right.
There's been a few where there'll be a show happening upstairs, and then there's one of those dance parties happening downstairs. So when a band finishes a song and they're tuning up, you hear doosh, 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 coming up from the.
Yeah, that's funny. And I was thinking like what's I don't know if you've heard anything. Well, I mean actually, or what's up with agoraphobic nosebleed, if there's something going on, or
Well, I think I've posted a few times about how Scott Hall has been working on music, but it's slow going.
Mhm.
He'll work on something, and then something will happen with Big Destroyer. They go out. They just did a tour.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, and or they're writing, or they're putting out a record, or you know. So he always stops and does Big Destroyer, and then he'll come back
Mm-hmm.
to Agoraphobic Nosebleed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's slow going, you know. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have anything to announce because I mean there's nothing's done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we are going to do another record. It's just when,
I
you
see.
know.
Mm-hmm.
There's it's impossible to say, you
Right.
know.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I follow. I think I'm not sure if it was on Pig Destroyer's page or in Adam Jarvis like
Uh-huh.
Instagram account, but I did see a picture of you with a Pig Destroyer, with the Blake's what happened and all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that was very like yeah that surprised me like yeah when I heard the news. It's crazy.
Yeah. A lot of people got really upset about that. There's been a lot of social media posts about Blake Harrison.
Hmm.
Everybody's sharing stories about him and talking about how supportive he was of music.
Hmm.
Um, and the talking about the bands that he played in.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's been really good to see, you know, that he had so many friends, and he positively affected people, so many people,
Hmm.
you know. There's going to be an event to remember him in
Right.
Baltimore.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it was sad news, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the texts were flying when the news came out, you know.
Hmm.
Everybody checking in with each other.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Very, very unfortunate. Yeah. I heard that. I was like, oh God. Right. And then, as I said, I was just looking at the pictures and I saw you in one of the pictures. I was like,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. It's like you're one of those guys that I don't want to lose touch with. Like I always like follow your bands and imagine person whatever. So I was like thinking like, oh
Yeah.
God, yeah, how like life changes so fast, right? And yeah,
Sure. This sort of thing reminds you to try to stay in touch with your friends.
exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unique for me to say that I knew Blake for a really long time. You know, we would run around in some of the same music circles.
Hmm.
You know, I met him because of his through his band he had at the time, Daybreak.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Exactly.
And you know, and he's done different stuff since then.
Hmm.
You know, we played music together for a little while too. And then he was in bands that were like in other music circles, and then and ones that people that I knew.
Hmm.
You know, he actually, and speaking of electronic music, he had this electronic thing that he did. It's one of those things where it's like one man band, and he would put on a mask.
Hmm.
You know, one of those things. And he one time Agoraphobic played a show in Washington D.C. and his project opened.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So you know, and then he wrote, you know, uh, so he had a lot of stuff going on.
Right. I see. I understand. And I know that obviously it always depends about like a promoter like bringing you to Mexico City, but do you got any plans like soon, especially with like now that you're releasing a new record? Do you think any plans coming and play here in Mexico?
Well, no, but it's like you said, if someone, I wonder who
Uh-huh.
could reach out to us and say, "Hey, we've got an idea to make this work and make sense. Why don't
Hmm.
you come out here and play a few shows in and around Mexico City or something like that?"
Hmm.
Oh, you know, we definitely love to do that. I mean, we haven't, besides playing in the States, we went to Europe in 2007, I think it was, and we played for like a week and a half.
I see.
And so look at it that way, it's time to cross an international border again, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess yeah, what I think is for well, I mean, especially for us here in Mexico, that now we like these bands, right? That they've been, in the scene like forever. Like now they finally like started coming here to Mexico. So,
Mhm.
it's kind of funny and weird in a way, right? Because it's like, damn, I like when I was like, I don't know, 12, 14, I always, wanted to see this band play, right? And now that I'm 40, right, they finally come. Right. So if I didn't get a chance to go to the States and, see them play, it's just like, wow, can't believe it. It's like it's different. And even then, like some of the bands, which of course I understand because as well, has something to do with age, but they I feel like some of them they don't play with the same energy, right? Like they used to, right? Like do all of these crazy stuff like on the stage and and this thing, but in the other hand, I think like with this, like as you just said, globalization or this like expansion or however you want to call it, I guess like in Latin America we are very eager, about all of these like bands, like Drugs of Fate, like Pig Destroyer, I don't know, Agoraphobic, and to have you here,
Yeah.
it's just like for us, it's something new. It's just like wow, it's just like if you had released like your first record and finally you get to tour and do it, right?
Yeah. You know, the thing about you seeing bands finally after them being around for so many years and then they don't jump around like they used to when they were younger.
Hmm.
I think it's really important to age gracefully. You
Yeah.
know, if you're, if you're 60 and you're still playing in the same band or another band, it's okay to not pretend like you're 20. I think you
Exactly.
should play what you can do because you can still be good. When you're in your teens and your 20s and you're being a maniac, that's what you were doing at the time. You don't have to try to be a maniac when you're 50 or 60. That's my opinion.
Like, yeah, yeah, exactly. One of my friends was telling me, he's like, what he said is like, you're still young in gangster years.
Yeah.
Made me laugh. Yeah, that was great. Well, if you can stay for a little bit longer, I'm just gonna,
Yep.
finish the interview. But again, just want to thank you, for your time and for, all of the insights from, Drugs of Fate, Agoraphobic, Digital Negative. Is
Mhm.
As usual, it's been great talking to you, and we'll be looking forward to listen to the new album for sure, man.
I appreciate it. Good to talk to you too.
All right, thank you so much, man.